The story begins with a man whose hands are tightly bound, trapped inside a water tank. This is Cha Wang, a magician and the protagonist of the show. The audience watches nervously as Cha Wang first unties the ropes underwater and locks his eyes on a girl in the crowd. With a swift twist of his hands, the girl's hairpin flies out and unlocks the tank. Cha Wang leaps into the air, hovering dramatically. The audience screams in shock as the scene ends. To test the audience, Cha Wang issues a challenge. You must immediately find a magic skill. What is your skill? He repeats the question multiple times, urging them to participate and adding to the tension. He declares that after they succeed, he will return their gear at 10 times the price. With that, he puts on sunglasses and ends the show in style. Soon, Cha Wang prepares for his next performance. However, the crew warns him about technical issues with the bow launcher, which could make the act dangerous. They advise him to postpone the show, but Cha Wang dismisses their concerns with confidence, proclaiming, "Here I am, the master." Suddenly, a man dressed in black rides onto the stage on a motorcycle. When he takes off his helmet, it's revealed to be Cha Wang himself. He briefly explains the performance details, saying, "I just watched the dance from the stage. I've seen it already," ending with a confident tone. As soon as he finishes speaking, a chubby man enthusiastically volunteers and jumps onto the stage to prove the bow's authenticity. Cha Wang fires an arrow at a card nearby. The chubby man pulls out the arrow and pricks his palm, realizing it's real and becoming visibly frightened. But Cha Wang isn't finished. He lines up all the bows and strikes a dramatic pose. The performance begins. As Cha Wang rides a motorcycle, spinning across the stage while the chubby man operates the bow launcher behind him, despite repeated attempts, the arrows never hit Cha Wang. Just as they prepare for the final shot, the bow launcher suddenly malfunctions, and no matter how hard the chubby man presses, it won't work. Suddenly, the bow fires an arrow directly at Cha Wang, striking him in the chest. Shocked and terrified, the chubby man rushes to check on him. He approaches Cha Wang, removes his helmet, and is stunned to discover that there is no one inside. Just as the audience is filled with curiosity, Cha Wang dramatically reappears above the stage. However, at his most arrogant moment, a girl unexpectedly grabs his pants from below, leaving Cha Wang flustered and desperate to protect his dignity. In a surprising twist, it is revealed that Cha Wang lives with 3 ghosts who reside in small houses within his home. Each morning, he shakes bells to summon them. These ghosts are integral to his magic performances. The chubby man, due to his size, acts as a human platform for Cha Wang to perform his levitation tricks. The young girl serves as the locksmith, boldly using her hairpin to unlock locks in front of the audience. And the thin older man, unfortunately, always plays the role of a wounded victim in the performances. Despite their complaints after each show, Cha Wang continues to control them, even paying them wages. One evening, while driving with the 3 ghosts, Cha Wang got into an argument with them. Suddenly, a ghost appeared in front of the car, causing Cha Wang to swerve and crash into a utility pole. When he got out to inspect the situation, he discovered the ghost, who was thrilled that Cha Wang could see him. The ghost begged for help, explaining that it was his wedding anniversary and he wanted Cha Wang to deliver a cake to his wife. However, Cha Wang, who never liked driving late at night, simply drove away. Back home, the 3 ghosts questioned his lack of compassion. Despite their discontent, Cha Wang's love for money made him dismiss their concerns. Meanwhile, a police officer named Sohai was investigating a case and accidentally discovered shattered glass fragments. Sohai recalled that Cha Wang's car had broken glass as well. She brought the fragments for verification and, upon confirming the match, immediately raised her gun, intending to arrest Cha Wang. However, with the ghosts assisting him, a mere handgun was no threat to Cha Wang at all. The scene takes a dramatic turn as the officer suddenly fires her gun. In a swift move, the thin older ghost leaps forward to shield Cha Wang. The officer then pulls out a spray gun, but the girl ghost unexpectedly absorbs the spray into her body, leaving the officer in shock. Frustrated, she attempts to swing her baton, but the chubby ghost grabs it, rendering her unable to move. This series of strange events frightens the officer, who hastily retreats. Determined to prove his innocence, Cha Wang performs a series of daring and chaotic stunts, including conjuring objects in midair while sitting cheerfully on a chair. However, the officer, visibly unnerved, shouts for her father in distress. Cha Wang's antics are not just for show, they are meant to prove the existence of ghosts around him, convincing the officer that he is not a murderer. To further persuade her, the three ghosts kneel beside him, pleading for her belief. After a long hesitation, she finally agrees to cooperate. The group then decides to join forces to find the real killer. While driving, Cha Wang assigns tasks to the ghosts while the bewildered officer sits beside him, glancing suspiciously at the rearview mirror. Eventually, they arrive at a rooftop where they find the ghost of the victim, named Miho, who seems unaware of his death. Cha Wang greets him casually, but the officer finds his behavior absurd as it appears he's talking to thin air. Cha Wang questions the ghost about the incident, but Miho has no memory of it, frustrating him to no end. As he scolds her, the officer steps in with handcuffs, attempting to arrest Cha Wang. Luckily, Cha Wang cleverly involves Miho's wife, who assists them remotely through text messages. With her guidance, the ghost's statements match perfectly, strengthening their investigation. To jog the ghost's memory of the accident, Cha Wang places Miho in the middle of the road, asking him to recall the events. Suddenly, a truck passes right through his ghostly body, triggering a vivid memory of the tragic incident. The events escalate as Miho recalls the license plate of the car involved in the accident. Following his lead, the group tracks down the vehicle, only to find it in a dilapidated state at a scrapyard. Cha Wang questions whether Miho might have made a mistake, but after much effort, Miho remembers the incident clearly. They rush to the scrapyard, where Cha Wang continues to amaze with his magic. With a simple wave of his hand, playing cards seemingly fly through the air. In reality, it is the chubby ghost blowing them into the air, and the other ghosts coordinating the spinning effect. While the audience is mesmerized, the ghosts are left exhausted. Meanwhile, Sohai takes matters into her own hands. She drives aggressively, ramming through the scrapyard gate to reach the wrecked car, which is about to be scrapped. Ignoring the danger, Sohai attempts to retrieve the helmet from the vehicle. The scrapyard owner, wielding a wrench, confronts them. Sohai tries to arrest him, but it turns out he has connections with the police chief. Unable to detain him, the owner arrogantly threatens Sohai, leaving her humiliated and in tears. Frustrated by her low rank and limited authority, she tearfully apologizes to Miho. Moved by her dilemma, Cha Wang decides to help. Sensing that his crimes have been exposed, the scrapyard owner attempts to flee that night. However, strange occurrences ensue, doors slam shut, lights flicker, and the television suddenly plays the news from the day of the incident. Terrified by these supernatural events, the owner breaks down and confesses everything. Cha Wang's ghostly allies were behind the haunting that led to the confession. Sohai soon faces a new case. Feeling lost, she vents her frustration to a friend who suggests seeking Cha Wang's help again. Although wary of involving the ghosts, she decides to bribe them with a lavish meal. Meanwhile, Cha Wang is preparing for another spectacular magic performance. As the show begins, he waves his hand, instantly igniting torches. Sparks fly as the torches seemingly orbit around him. In reality, the ghosts are spinning the torches to create the illusion. With a final gesture, the sparks form a circular pattern, dazzling the audience once more. During a grand magical performance, a general in the audience suddenly casts a spell, launching a beam of light that strikes Cha Wang's stomach. Instantly, he feels excruciating pain and struggles to hold it in. Unable to control himself, he crouches on the stage, exerting all his strength, only for his backside to unexpectedly emit sparks. The audience is bewildered, watching as Cha Wang frantically runs around the stage. Fortunately, a quick-thinking crew member arrives with a fire extinguisher and sprays down Cha Wang's backside. Despite this chaotic mishap, Cha Wang doesn't forget his main priority, maintaining his stylish image. All this chaos originated from Sohai's attempt to persuade Cha Wang to join a police patrol team. In an effort to win him over, Sohai prepared a lavish meal and brought it to Cha Wang's home. However, a mischievous general ghost ended up consuming the entire feast while praising its deliciousness. Known for his love of food and reluctance to work for free, Cha Wang outright rejected Sohai's request. As Sohai left, the general realized something peculiar. His virtue points had increased unexpectedly. He quickly followed Sohai and discovered that the increase was triggered by Sohai's polite, "Thank you." Determined to explain the importance of virtue points, the general visited Cha Wang's bedside and informed him that when these points reached a certain level, he could achieve remarkable powers. The general's real motive was to convince Cha Wang to join the police patrol, but Cha Wang refused without a second thought. Meanwhile, an elderly man was frantically digging up silver coins from the ground, as though every coin represented a step toward a better life. After unearthing a vast amount, he handed them to Sohai, who initially tried to stuff the coins into her pocket but quickly realized there were too many. She had to call in the police with excavation equipment, ultimately unearthing a staggering 1 billion coins. It was revealed that the money belonged to the old man's son, a high-ranking online fraudster. Authorities urged viewers to download anti-fraud software to protect their money from ending up in criminals' hands. As the news broadcasted the story of the old man's fortune, Cha Wang happened to catch the segment. Seeing the massive pile of coins, the money-loving magician felt as if he had missed a golden opportunity. Just then, Sohai arrived, asking Cha Wang to accompany her to the old man's house for a routine patrol. Seizing the chance to get close to the fortune, Cha Wang eagerly agreed. Though he claimed to be going for official purposes, his true intention was to see if he could pocket some of the treasure for himself. An elderly man was being beaten by 3 middle-aged men when Cha Wang arrived just in time. The men turned their attention to attack Cha Wang, but suddenly, a flash of light filled the sky, and the attackers were thrown back. It was the general, who had arrived to oversee Cha Wang's work. The men, terrified, immediately knelt down in surrender. Sohai, hearing the commotion, rushed to the scene. However, all she could see was Cha Wang standing alone. Sohai then remembered the elderly man and went searching for him, only to find the man lying motionless on a bed. Despite Sol's desperate attempts to revive him, the old man had already passed away. Before his death, the man's only wish was for his son to turn over a new leaf and lead an honest life. Cha Wang initially refused to get involved, as he hated troublesome matters, but the general knocked him on the head with a fan, forcing him to agree to investigate a gambling-related case. Cha Wang and Sohai disguised themselves and infiltrated the largest underground casino in the area. Thanks to the help of Cha Wang's ghost companions, they quickly won a substantial amount of money. Their winning streak soon caught the attention of the bald-headed casino boss, who sent a card sharp and a woman accomplice to cheat them. The card sharp skillfully swapped cards in plain sight, while the woman hid a key card in her bag. But the ghosts weren't easily fooled. One of them spun the woman's chair, creating an opportunity for another ghost to grab the hidden card and pass it to the elderly ghost. The card was then handed to Cha Wang, who executed a flawless series of moves, swapping the card back without anyone noticing. At the showdown, the card sharp confidently declared victory and started collecting money, only for Cha Wang to reveal his winning hand, shocking everyone. As the police raided the casino, Cha Wang, ever the greedy magician, was more concerned about his bag of silver coins than escaping. He grabbed the bag and tried to leave, but a police officer caught him by the collar. In a slick move, Cha Wang performed a shoulder throw, knocking the officer down. Just as he was about to celebrate, the officer flipped him over and pinned him to the ground. Seeing the situation turn dire, Sohai grabbed a fire extinguisher and sprayed wildly at the police, creating a smoke screen. He dragged Cha Wang out to safety. In the car, Cha Wang clutched his bag tightly, feeling relieved that his precious silver coins were still with him. But when he finally opened it, he was dumbfounded to find nothing but random junk inside. Cha Wang realized that the confusion earlier had caused him to grab the wrong bag. He lamented the loss of a significant sum of money, which was equivalent to a regular police officer's salary for several months. Seeing Sohai's pitiful expression, Cha Wang decided not to hold him accountable for the lost money. It turns out Cha Wang already had a plan in mind. The next day, while investigating at a restaurant, Cha Wang discovered a hidden passage behind the refrigerator. With the police's help, he opened it and ventured alone into a dark basement, where he found the true mastermind behind the gambling ring, the elderly man's son. Surprisingly, instead of arresting him, Cha Wang seemed to have a different agenda. It was revealed that Cha Wang wasn't an ordinary citizen but someone with a unique role as a liaison between mysterious forces and law enforcement. This was the real reason he didn't make Sohai repay the money. The mastermind, a bespectacled man, suddenly pulled out a large suitcase and slammed it in front of Cha Wang. As Cha Wang prepared to count the money, the man brandished a knife. Luckily, Sej arrived just in time, swiftly subduing the man and bringing him to the police station. Despite the danger, Cha Wang remained his flamboyant self. Even at charity events, he insisted on dressing differently from everyone else. During one such event, a truck pulled up, and a woman handed Cha Wang a patrol uniform, urging him to wear it. Initially reluctant, Cha Wang's expression turned even more sour when he learned that the task was to transport rice. Despite his tall frame, his physical strength was lacking, and carrying the heavy rice sacks left him wobbling like a crab. After the exhausting task, the woman, who turned out to be the owner of the welfare home, earned Cha Wang's newfound respect when he learned that she had single-handedly purchased the entire facility and revived it. However, their peaceful moment was interrupted when local real estate developers arrived, trying to force her to sell the welfare home. They even resorted to intimidation. Unable to tolerate their threats, Sohai revealed her police badge. Surprisingly, the developers showed no fear and summoned more henchmen. Nonetheless, with the police present, they chose to retreat temporarily. That evening, the elderly woman decided to treat Cha Wang and the group to dinner as a thank you. Cha Wang, expecting a fancy feast, was disappointed to find himself at a humble street food stall. Sei offered him a drink, but Cha Wang initially refused, claiming he only drank one particular type of wine. Ignoring his protests, Sei insisted he take a sip. To everyone's surprise, Cha Wang instantly fell in love with the drink and began chugging it enthusiastically, leaving Sei completely baffled by the sudden change in attitude. After finishing the drink in one enthusiastic gulp, Cha Wang's face turned completely red from intoxication. In his drunken state, he shockingly attempted to flirt with Sei. The general noticed the Big Dipper constellation faintly glowing on Sohai's forehead. This sight triggered a realization. Sohai was actually Cha Wang's fated lover from a past life. The general finally understood why he had never ascended to godhood. It wasn't due to his merit but because he had to take responsibility for a mistake from 100 years ago. The only way for him to ascend was to successfully match Cha Wang and Sohai as a couple. Determined to see this through, he enlisted the help of 3 subordinates to devise a detailed romance plan for Cha Wang. The next day, the group dragged Cha Wang into a basement filled with visual presentations outlining the romantic strategy. That evening, Cha Wang attempted one of the suggested methods with the help of mischievous little spirits. Unfortunately, the attempt not only failed but terrified Sohai, who thought Cha Wang had contracted a strange illness and promptly fled. Meanwhile, trouble was brewing at the elderly woman's convenience store. A mysterious customer, possessed by a demonic entity, arrived and ominously twisted his neck before attacking the woman. She ended up hospitalized. When questioned about her attacker, she unexpectedly pointed to her own son-in-law. Cha Wang was stunned. How could a man be so cruel? At that moment, the man wielding a baseball bat appeared to be slowly advancing toward the restroom where his wife was. The motive? His wife had refused to comply with his demands, pushing him to this desperate act. Sohai was shocked to learn the truth. However, the revelation was complicated because the information came from the soul of the injured woman, making it inaudible to normal people. The elderly woman kept insisting that she had seen a mysterious bag involved in the incident. Cha Wang suddenly remembered a magician's trick called stealing the heavens and changing the sun, a method of instantaneous object transfer. Convinced that this might have been how the crime was executed, the two returned to the convenience store to investigate. After searching the crime scene for a long time, Sohai finally found a hidden window in the corner. Cha Wang imagined the crime scene in his mind and deduced the sequence of events. The culprit likely slid the bag out of the window into a nearby bin, then casually walked out of the store without arousing suspicion. Later, the weapon was planted in a local gang's office, successfully framing them for the crime. After discussing their findings, Cha Wang and Sohai decided to split up to gather more evidence. Cha Wang gave Sohai an earpiece that allowed her to hear spirits speak. Meanwhile, the injured woman remained bedridden in the hospital. Suddenly, her heart monitor began to beep erratically, alarming her husband, who immediately called for a doctor. After examining her carefully, the doctor pronounced her dead. The The husband put on an emotional show, kneeling by her bedside and weeping bitterly. However, his true intentions were revealed moments later when he gleefully called a real estate developer to finalize the sale of the welfare home. What he didn't realize was that this was all part of a plan orchestrated by Xiaoya, who had used a clever optical illusion to make the doctor believe the woman had died. This tactic was meant to provoke the husband into revealing his next move. Elsewhere, the husband and the real estate developer were discussing the terms of the sale. Overcome with excitement at the lucrative deal, the man failed to notice a mischievous spirit controlling his hand to scribble nonsensical signatures on the contract. To make matters worse, the spirit even drew a star on the developer's face, adding to the chaos. Just as the situation escalated into absurdity, the general arrived on the scene and immediately incapacitated the developer with a flawless over-the-shoulder throw. The husband panicked and tried to flee but was intercepted by Cha Wang and Sohai, who had been lying in wait. The chase led them to the rooftop, where the husband, cornered and desperate, threatened to jump if they didn't let him go. As he pleaded, his foot slipped and he fell off the edge. So reacted quickly, grabbing him by the arm, and Cha Wang rushed to assist. Despite their efforts, the man slipped from their grasp and fell to his death. With the truth finally uncovered, the injured woman's spirit was able to find peace. As the spirit of the woman prepared to leave for the afterlife, she gave Sohai a final request to take care of the children at the welfare home, a place she had been devoted to for many years. As she spoke, the underworld messenger was ready to escort her, but something unexpected happened. The children, who had been cared for by the woman, prayed fervently for her health, wishing for her to remain well. Touched by their sincerity, the spirit world decided to intervene, granting her the chance to continue living. This act of compassion broke the usual rules of the afterlife. Meanwhile, the scene shifted to a competition between two top magicians, each eager to prove their skills. One magician, Ini, confidently boasted of his success with women, claiming to have never failed in confessing his feelings. Intrigued, Cha Wang became curious and sought Ini out after the show to learn his secrets to winning over women. After some teaching, Cha Wang wasn't entirely convinced, but he agreed to participate in Ini's plan. Cha Wang reluctantly practiced the tricks Ini taught him, even buying a ring as part of his preparation. He spent time in his car rehearsing. Meanwhile, Sohai was on a date with an older mentor, with 3 employees secretly observing them. The scene was interrupted when one of the employees, a heavier-set man, stopped the mentor from confessing by covering his mouth. The failed confession didn't deter the mentor, who then dragged Sohai into playing a game of basketball. Back to Cha Wang, he received a photo from Sha, which caused him to feel deeply embarrassed. Trying to save face, he initially claimed that it didn't bother him, but a few moments later, he turned back and asked the general to join him in visiting a place called Jade Hall. When they arrived, they ran into Sohai and her mentor, who proposed a couples competition. Although Cha Wang wasn't interested, the mentor pushed him into the challenge, using reverse psychology to spark his competitive side, arguing that winning would be an exciting and rewarding experience. Cha Wang, feeling the pressure, agreed to the challenge with the mentor. The competition began, and the mentor immediately showed off his professionalism, executing perfect moves. Cha Wang, on the other hand, was struggling. Every time he threw the ball, it missed completely, failing to hit even one target and embarrassing himself in front of his employees. Seeing Cha Wang failing miserably, even his own employees couldn't stand it anymore and decided to intervene. Just as they prepared to step in, Cha Wang casually threw another ball. To everyone's surprise, the impossible happened. Every ball he threw somehow knocked down the targets. Realizing something strange was going on, Sohai suspected a trick, but Cha Wang continued to perform these miraculous feats, astonishing the mentor. Even when the mentor threw the ball with great effort, it was always stopped midway. After the match, the mentor told Cha Wang to leave as he had something to discuss with Sohai. Frustrated and upset, Cha Wang took his anger out on his employees. As the tension continued, the general pulled out a ring that Cha Wang had prepared earlier and asked if it was his. Cha Wang, unwilling to admit anything, tried to avoid the situation, saying he needed to return the ring to his master. Later, Cha Wang went to the restaurant to find Sohai but couldn't find any trace of her. Feeling defeated, he walked home, only to spot Sohai sitting in the restaurant holding hands with the mentor. This sight confirmed that he had lost his chance, causing Cha Wang emotional distress. As Cha Wang's heart shattered, the three little ghosts at home also faced the consequences. In his anger, Cha Wang set up an impossible magic trick, one filled with dark, bloody elements. The employees watching the footage were left feeling helpless and unable to voice their frustrations, so they could only complain to the general about their grievances. Meanwhile, a dejected Cha Wang was on the treadmill, talking to himself as memories of his time with Sohai kept swirling in his mind. After work, Sohai returned home to find the house pitch dark. She noticed a shadowy figure in the middle of the room. Alert, she immediately drew her handgun. To her surprise, it was Cha Wang standing there with a bouquet of flowers. She suddenly remembered his warning: if someone's behavior is strange, they might have been possessed. Without hesitation, she fired at him. Fortunately, employees rushed in and stopped her. It turned out to be a misunderstanding. Cha Wang was simply trying to surprise her for her birthday, even gifting her a pair of expensive shoes. After dinner, Sohai was still cautious and questioned whether Cha Wang was truly himself, bringing up several incidents they had experienced together. Cha Wang answered all her questions correctly, finally putting her at ease. Elsewhere, the evil spirit, weakened from its previous defeat, was now seeking the 7-star chain. Suddenly, a powerful light emitted from Sohai's body. The evil spirit immediately pursued her. As she passed by a mirror, Sohai spotted the spirit following her. Determined to avenge her father, she deliberately led the spirit to a secluded bridge tunnel, knowing firearms would be ineffective. As the spirit prepared to attack, Sohai appeared and shot it with an electric gun. Thinking the danger was over, the officer lowered his guard and walked confidently forward. However, the spirit suddenly revived, flinging the officer aside and setting its sights on Sohai. Just as it was about to deliver a fatal blow, it inexplicably stopped its fist midair, hesitating for reasons unknown. Cha Wang arrived. He lightly waved his hands and summoned 2 flames in his palms. However, within seconds, he accidentally burned himself. Undeterred, he continued casting flames and hurled them toward the spirit. The flames exploded midair, creating a distraction. Taking the opportunity, Cha Wang dashed behind the spirit, stuck a floating talisman on its body, and tightly embraced it. He then shouted for Ghost Hunter's help. Hearing the commotion, the Ghost Hunters arrived with her team. The Ghost Hunter placed a gourd before the evil spirit while they chanted incantations. The spirit writhed in pain, dark marks appearing on its neck. Suddenly, it grabbed the Ghost Hunter by the throat, lifted her into the air, and began draining her energy. Despite Cha Wang's frantic attempts to intervene, the spirit was unaffected. Helpless, Cha Wang confronted it head-on but was pushed down. At that critical moment, Cha Wang's memories from a past life resurfaced as the spirit continued its relentless attack, flinging him aside. Just then, Sohai appeared behind the spirit with an electric gun. Struck by the shock, the spirit retaliated and sent Sohai flying. Despite being knocked down, Cha Wang rose slowly, revived by his past life memories. The spirit, seeing him still alive, prepared for another attack. In a fit of rage, it unleashed a fierce assault on Cha Wang. Fortunately, Sohai shielded him in time, forming a protective barrier that deflected the spirit. As a radiant light appeared, Cha Wang's past life was revealed. Seeing this, the spirit was terrified and retreated. Cha Wang and his past self simultaneously made a hand gesture, forcing the dark energy from the spirit's body. With a final spell, Cha Wang sealed the spirit inside the gourd. In the previous life, the officials of the Yang Kingdom continued to argue fiercely, insisting that the princess's marriage was an insult to the royal family. Upon hearing this news, Sohai immediately showed a shocked expression and rushed forward to ask her father about the military alliance through marriage. However, the king completely ignored her advice and directly ordered her to be taken away. Watching Sohai being taken away, Cha Wang stood by helplessly. It turned out that if the princess was not married off, the entire country would face destruction. Despite her reluctance, Cha Wang, as the high priest, had no choice but to accept the separation from Sohai for the sake of the nation. This scene was witnessed by a foreign prince. To prevent them from eloping, he ordered people to capture Cha Wang and bring him to the main hall. He even forged a letter accusing him of conspiring with foreign enemies and becoming a spy. As a result, Cha Wang was imprisoned and sentenced to exile. That night, a general secretly sent assassins to kill Cha Wang. The following day, fortunately, Sohai's attendant overheard this and immediately informed Sohai to help her escape. The attendant distracted the guards, and Sohai barely managed to escape on horseback, but her loyal attendant was killed by the prince's men. Meanwhile, Cha Wang was being escorted to exile. Luckily, the princess arrived in time to rescue him. Just as they were about to escape, a group of black-clad assassins appeared and quickly slaughtered the soldiers. Afterward, the assassins forced Cha Wang up the mountain, intending to kill him with arrows. Cha Wang used magic to freeze the arrows in midair and then gently flicked his hands, sending them flying back at the attackers. Seeing the situation turn dire, the prince quietly moved to Sohai's side and held her hostage with a weapon. Helpless, Cha Wang had to drop his magical artifact. Without his artifact, Cha Wang reverted to a weakened state. The prince swung his blade, but Sohai rushed forward and took the blow for Cha Wang, holding Sohai in his arms. Cha Wang's eyes filled with rage. Slowly, he picked up his artifact again. The prince, frightened, fled in panic. Cha Wang cast a spell, lifting the prince into the air to punish him for his evil deeds. He decided to condemn him to eternal damnation. He extracted his soul from his body and sealed it within the central altar forever. Elsewhere, during a ghost hunting mission, Ghost Fatty unexpectedly encountered his first love. He immediately asked her about the situation. However, whenever the girl tried to recall the past, her body would go out of control and become violent. Even the ghosts were frightened by this. Out of desperation, Cha Wang had to temporarily restrain her. Ghost Fatty watched the girl struggle, tears welling up in his eyes. It turned out that after Ghost Fatty's death, the men in black had taken the girl into a car and killed her. As a result, her soul had been wandering near the bridge, hoping to find the murderer. To prevent the girl's condition from worsening, Sohai made a suggestion. Ghost Fatty immediately asked Sohai how she knew about the car. It turned out that all accidents near the bridge had one common element: a black sedan. Ghost Fatty recalled that his former boss owned a black sedan and had a scar on his face. Realizing the truth, Ghost Fatty, with a heavy heart, decided to take revenge on the mob boss for his first love. Fortunately, Cha Wang and the others managed to stop him. That night, Cha Wang and the group went to the crime scene to look for clues. Suddenly, the girl went berserk again, and they tried to restrain her. At that moment, a black car appeared and sped toward them. It was the mob boss. The boss revved the engine, forcing Cha Wang to the edge of a cliff. Just as it seemed hopeless, Cha Wang's car miraculously stopped in place. The mob boss, desperate, pressed the accelerator frantically, but the car wouldn't budge. Just then, an advisor appeared at the cliff's edge, pushing against the car with all his strength. It turned out that the car had stopped because of the advisor's effort. The boss tried to restart the car, but it stopped after just a second. No matter how hard he pressed the accelerator, the car wheels spun in place. It was Ghost Fatty who had single-handedly stopped the car. Helpless, the mob boss got out to inspect the situation, only to turn around and see the girl standing right in front of him. Terrified, the mob boss turned and fled. But after running a few hundred meters, the ghostly girl captured him. Just as she was about to finish him off, Ghost Fatty intervened in time to stop her, warning that killing him would turn her into an evil spirit forever. To avenge her, Ghost Fatty decided to give up his path to enlightenment and take matters into his own hands. At this critical moment, Cha Wang intervened and continuously persuaded him. After Cha Wang's heartfelt reasoning, Ghost Fatty finally calmed down and regained his composure. On Sohai's first date, she was ridiculed by people simply because Cha Wang's appearance was too striking. They claimed he was unworthy of her. Frustrated, Sohai had no choice but to pull him away. However, just a few minutes after leaving, a group of schoolgirls approached Cha Wang. There's no denying that today's students are quite bold with their flirting. This left Sohai speechless. Feeling exasperated, she decided to go home, thinking that at least no one would flock to him there. Meanwhile, Cha Wang remained blissfully delighted by the attention. His shameless behavior left Sohai completely speechless. On the other side, the general was chatting with a few employees. From their conversation, it was revealed that since Cha Wang successfully entered a relationship with Sohai, he was on the verge of becoming a god. However, there was a downside. Once he became a god, Cha Wang would lose his ability to see ghosts forever, meaning the three employees would be left as wandering, lonely spirits. Hearing this, the employees were furious. The very thought of it was terrifying, and they decided to act quickly to stop the couple's relationship. Meanwhile, something unbelievable happened that even Cha Wang couldn't believe. Every day, there's a new single life tip, but just as someone made a casual remark, Su accidentally twisted his neck. Cha Wang immediately demonstrated his 10 years of single life expertise by skillfully treating Su's injury, prompting Su to exclaim that it wasn't enough. Just as Sohai was about to thank him, the employees rushed over, and the general quickly opened his fan to assess the situation and confirm it. Later, Danga and the girl, after having endured suffering in their past lives, finally got married. Their wedding was celebrated by their employees and the boss. After the wedding, the three of them prepared to ascend to become Buddhas. During their final meal together, everyone's expression became serious, as it was their last meal before they embarked on their spiritual journey. Kiria, unwilling to let them go, suggested preparing desserts to extend their time together. They shared a heartfelt goodbye, and the trio left, ascending as a beam of light into the sky. After they departed, Cha Wang asked the general to take Sohai home, and he returned to an empty house. It felt surreal to him as he reflected on the moments he had shared with them. As he thought about the time they spent together, he couldn't hold back his emotions. Meanwhile, the evil spirit hid within the body of a senior, and the senior's soul appeared in the mirror. No matter how he struggled, his body was controlled by the evil spirit. The spirit, sensing the presence of the 7-star chain, followed its energy trail. Sohai was preparing clothes for Cha Wang's proposal, eagerly awaiting him. However, Cha Wang asked her to leave him. When he finally spoke, Sohai thought he was joking, but to her shock, Cha Wang got up and left, leaving her alone in the room. She followed him, hoping to explain, but Cha Wang refused to listen and insisted on leaving. A week later, Sohai went to the witch asking for information about Cha Wang's whereabouts, as she hadn't seen him since their breakup. The witch denied knowing anything. Meanwhile, Cha Wang was performing a prayer to revive the gods so that he could confront the evil spirits. During this period, Cha Wang was trying to forget all his emotions and desires. On the other side, Sohai, feeling heartbroken, was preparing to go home. Suddenly, a senior appeared before her, forcing her to be with him and threatening to kill her if she refused. Of course, Sohai wouldn't agree to such demands. She quickly ran to the side and drew a gun, aiming it at the senior. But the weapon was useless. With a flick of his hand, the senior knocked the gun out of her hand and grabbed Sohai by the neck, preparing to strike. However, the senior started to recall his moments with Sohai and began struggling with the evil spirit inside him, desperately trying to prevent it from harming Sohai. Looking at the road, he decided to throw himself in front of a truck to protect Sohai from the evil spirit's harm. Meanwhile, the police chief, who had learned of his son's accident, rushed to the scene. What he didn't expect was that he would soon become an ally of the evil spirit. Back with the witch, she was praying for Cha Wang's success. Suddenly, the police chief barged in. The witch grabbed a knife to defend herself, but the evil spirit simply used a glance to send the knife flying into a painting. The police chief grabbed the knife and slowly approached the witch. By the time Cha Wang and the general arrived, it was too late. The witch had already fallen victim to the police chief's attack. The police arrived just as Cha Wang, holding the knife, was mistaken for a murderer, a plan orchestrated by the chief. Luckily, the general was with them, casting a spell to release Cha Wang's hand from the knife and delaying the police to allow him to escape. Furious when he realized the situation, the police chief contacted a financial tycoon to leverage the media to catch Cha Wang quickly. News broadcasts began airing stories about Cha Wang's escape. Exhausted, Cha Wang had nowhere to turn until two uncles appeared. Looking at their faces, Cha Wang realized they were his employees. Cha Wang, with the help of his 3 employees, successfully returned to his hometown. He quickly performed a spell with the general's assistance, enabling him to revive as a god. After much effort, he felt as though he had succeeded. However, he soon sensed that Sohai was in danger. Sure enough, the police chief was preparing to attack. With the evil spirit unable to obtain Sohai's body, Cha Wang rushed to the rooftop and saw Sohai struggling. The evil spirit released a burst of energy, sending Cha Wang flying. The spirit was shocked by the immense power within Sohai's body. Cha Wang summoned a divine sword and began battling the evil spirit. When Cha Wang placed the sword at the evil spirit's neck and looked at Sohai, he found himself unable to strike. Desperate, Cha Wang decided to let the evil spirit reincarnate within him. Once the spirit took over his body, Cha Wang pleaded with the general to kill him. His plan was to perish along with the evil spirit. But the general couldn't bring himself to do it. As Cha Wang was about to lose control of his body, he threw himself onto the general's sword, ending his life and taking the evil spirit with him. After his death, Cha Wang found himself transported 2,000 years into the past, where he met Sohai, who was now a princess. Cha Wang approached her and gently touched her cheek. The princess asked how he had returned, and Cha Wang explained that the divine battle had brought him here. He told her that she would die tomorrow but that he was powerless to stop it. Unafraid, the princess asked him what would become of him. Cha Wang bowed his head in silence, and the princess understood everything. She asked if they would meet again in the next life. Hearing Cha Wang's words, she realized that they would indeed be reunited and that their future would have a happy ending. She urged Cha Wang to return and cherish those around him in the present, and as she embraced him, that embrace, transcending thousands of years, symbolized the deep connection they shared. Cha Wang came to understand that his life wasn't over. The following day, the princess indeed passed away. 2,000 years later, on the rooftop, Sohai regained consciousness. Seeing Cha Wang kneeling on the ground, she rushed forward and embraced him tightly. Her heartfelt sobs seemed to fill the entire night. At that moment, a hand slowly rested on Sohai's shoulder. It was Cha Wang, who had awakened years later. Cha Wang and Sohai were married in the mortal world and had a son, whom they named Sage Kin. At their son's birthday party, 3 familiar-looking friends showed up, and Cha Wang couldn't shake the strange feeling that he had seen them before. During an outing, Cha Wang noticed the way the 3 friends moved and dressed. They were eerily similar to the 3 ghostly employees he had once raised. Realizing something was amiss, he looked at his son with wide eyes. The boy's movements startled him because they resembled the general god's signature gestures. With this realization, Cha Wang and Sohai watched their son and his friends happily play together, feeling content in their peaceful life. Thank you for watching. Please like and drop a heart if you love the series.